This is the only bit that's going to be really annoying if this falls off. Give me strength. Intel have sponsored this video and sent me one of their 14th gen top of the line i9 14900K CPUs so I can finally get the frames that I want in Star Citizen. Let's talk about it and build this rig. Welcome to the channel if you're new around here. I'm GFA and this channel is mainly around me playing space games, specifically Star Citizen. Now, in that game, as I'm sure many of you know that play the game, much of my audience know this, Star Citizen is not the easiest game to run, hence the need for an upgrade. Now, Intel saw that I was struggling because I was averaging around 30 to 60, maybe 60, probably only about 50 frames per second in the, well, my gloves just farted. Around sort of 50 frames a second, maybe sort of 45, and it's not very stable. There's a lot of stuttering and a lot of issues. And the game is a CPU heavy game. A lot of bottlenecks take place with the processor opposed to the graphics card. Now, as I mentioned, I don't know why I keep leaning on this like I'm at a bar. As I mentioned earlier, Intel sent me out this 14900K i9 CPU, the 14th generation, so last year's generation. This i9 14900K has 24 cores, which means it's going to pack an absolute wallop in processing power and really allow me to maximize my performance. Now, I do have to say, it's not just Intel that have sponsored today's video. Corsair have sent me out this Vengeance RGB DDR5 memory RAM, and now I have to say, it is very RGB heavy. Very RGB heavy, as we can see. Why is no, focus on this, not my face. Now they have sent me out 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. I actually have 64 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM in here, so I'm very excited to see how much of a difference this makes as well, being 6,000 megahertz and DDR5, so it's going to be a lot quicker. And I also want to say a huge thank you to Overclockers UK. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to get the Corsair RAM. They facilitated and brought us together on this project to help tie it all in with Intel as well. So thank you very much, Overclockers UK. It's going to be a huge leap forward for me, and I can't wait to do a before and after. You've seen the before, let's get this built and do the after. Oh yes, wow, so much to see. But don't worry, that is not going to be, that was really heavy. I'm unfit. That is not going to be the only angle. I'm going to bring in camera number 2. Like a glove. GFA, you might be asking yourself, why are you wearing mechanic gloves for a PC build? And to that I say this. I don't know. Harry Potter, the boy that lived, come to die. I'm out of breath, I need a minute. Right, so here we go, we are rolling. I need the lights. Lights, please, doctor. Oh God, I've already broken this today. Is that gonna... Let's start by removing... Let's remove the brain. Right, screws. This is going to be a common theme. I'm going to lose a lot of these tonight. I mean, they're not going to go far, but I'm going to lose them, So it'd be good to not do that. Sometimes I have to make up like little rhymes. The 2 screws for the graphics card are next to the printer. Let's remember that one. The 2 screws for the graphics card are next to the printer. Everybody at home now. The 2 screws for the... Now I know lots of people at home are going to be like, oh my God, he hasn't got an anti-static band on. He's going to blow up the world. I get rid of any static charge. I'm also not wearing any socks. Shout out anyone on Only Feets. Look quite hairy ass arms. There we go. Right, so that's one bracket off. There it is. Okay, we're off. Tell you what, it's time. The hat is off and the gloves are off, people. Brilliant. Okay, as you can probably tell from the fact that I'm differently dressed and there's light now outside, it's a different day. I got called away to something else. So, we're back. Power cables, these bad boys can come out now. Motherboard screws next to the RAM. Motherboard screws. The RAM once had motherboard screws. Oh, there goes the fan. We're out. Hey, for the most part, I think intact. That is dusty in there. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick up the dust. Done. Can you tell I don't build many computers? New motherboard, time to go in. So here we are. Shout out Intel, thank you so much for sending this over to support the CPU upgrade. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do it. So, let's get this out. It's a gigabyte board. Gently does it. There it is. Oh, and there it is. Motherboard. Right. I think I've managed to jam the cooler on the power cables. No, never something you want to hear during a PC build. The motherboard is comfortably in. In the comments below, PC people out there that have done upgrades and built fresh, what do you prefer? This is the only bit that's going to be really annoying if this falls off. Give me strength. Cool, motherboard is seated, screwed in, snug, comfy. This video is like proof that anyone can build a PC. I am thick as sh. Alright, I have retrieved my two M.2s from the other motherboard that I forgot about. There we go, right, that is in. There we are. Click. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so CPU going in. Here we are. Thing the whole video is basically about. Bosh. Really cool box. I actually really like the way these CPUs are packaged up. The moment of truth. Intel i9-9999. Lovely job. Right. Let's pop it out of the protective layerings. Pop this open here. Nice. We'll lift this up. The CPU goes on top. And I know everyone's really sitting there waiting with bated breath on how I'm going to apply my thermal paste, and I'll show you my method in just a moment. It is mainly P-dot / slight cross. P / cross. Okay, here we go. Out it comes. Beautiful. Yeah. Arrow is bottom right corner, bottom left corner even, which is also the bottom left corner on here, as we can see. Little arrow here. So that is where it's going to be going in. Nice and gently does it. Bosh. Okay. CPU is in. Pop this down. It always feels so wrong to put the pressure on like this. But I mean, oh, there we go. That always feels so wrong. Okay, there was probably a cut there because it has actually been a couple of days since you last saw me 2 seconds ago. I had to get an LGA17 bracket, but for my old cooler, they just don't sell them anymore. They used to come in kits. They're gone. So I had to update my cooler. You'll notice that the back's off. That's where I've done the cooler. So I had to take the back off to redo all these cables back here. This is an absolute mess of cable management down here, so ignore that. Now we're going to apply our thermal paste. I'm going to do a dot and a couple of small lines just to confirm coverage. Now a lot of people just say do the dot. I usually just do the dot, but for the sake of this new build, I'm going to put a bit more on than I usually would. Show you how I would normally do it. So normally I do a little P in the middle. Sounds strange. Like this. That's usually what I would do, which is probably sufficient, but I'm gonna just do a little line coming out, just a really thin line. I think I have definitely overdone that, that thermal paste. That's it, I usually put a little dot in the middle, but because of the shape, I wanna be safe. And again, I'm going to apologise to this left camera. I'm going to try and not be in the way as much as possible. Let's put these, screw these on, tighten these nuts up. Watch all that thermal paste come spilling out, I'm sure. Okay, I think that's seated properly. I don't see anything spilling. If the temperatures go mental, we'll know why. My dog has just joined the view. Right, GPU is in. So let's do the RAM. DDR5 Vengeance, 6,000 megahertz in this DDR5 RAM. Now, which way around does it go? There we go. Click and click. Sorry, is my head in the way there? Hey, how you doing? I'm home. There we go. Pip, pap, pop. GPU cables are in. Alright, so this is how we are now looking. There's going to be a lot of RGB going on, like a lot of RGB now. Might be a bit RGB heavy if anything. The time has come to actually turn it on. Okay, here we are in Star Citizen, and here is the footage I captured before doing the upgrade. As you can see, I'm at Area 18, just walking around, and we're getting between 33 and 39 FPS. To contrast that, here is the after footage after doing the upgrade. All the settings that I recorded with are the same, and we're at 52 to 54 FPS. I do want to make it clear that I didn't just do one server, I actually server hopped multiple times, and I've picked the best 2 performing servers from each of my tests from the before and after. So as you can see here at the platform, we were averaging between 35 and 44 FPS, which is not bad. And then as we move over to after, we're at 38 to 53 FPS in the exact same scenario. The average is kind of the same, and this is probably where there's less AI in the area, so it's more down to the GPU rendering, because as I said, nothing else has changed. Then we'll move over to the actual transit system and flying over to the ASOP terminals and the ship hub where we get our ships. And as we dip down into the roadway, you can kind of see that the FPS gets to its maximum underneath this tunnel at around 66. So not terrible, to be fair. But again, as we move away from where all the AI NPCs are spawning, the frame rate will increase because the CPU is not being used as much and we are relying more on the graphics card, which again hasn't changed yet. There is something coming soon, hopefully. But yes, not right now. We are still running the same card for these tests, which is good, gives us a good control. So as we move over to the after sequence, we can now see that the frame rate has increased to between 53 and 76 FPS. And again, you will see as we go under that tunnel, the same tunnel where the frame rates jumped to 66 before, we jump to 76. So even though we're in the same position and moving away from the AI, there is still more resources, or less bottlenecking, I should say, from the CPU, which gives us a more stable frame rate. So I'm now very, very excited to upgrade my GPU and really see how far we can push Star Citizen in its current build. And another thing I have to make very clear is both of these tests were recorded on 3.23. They were not recorded in 4.0 that has server meshing and much higher performance all round. So there we go, that is the video. You've seen how nice it looks with the extra RGBs that have now been added to the system, and you've seen the incredible performance increase, and more than anything, the stability. I feel like there's less fluctuation and less hitching and stuttering with the new processor in place. It really has made a difference. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it and hope you enjoyed this build video today. Again, huge thank you to Intel, Corsair, and Overclockers UK. All of the links to their websites and the products seen in this video can be found below, so please go ahead and check them out. And lastly, the standard YouTuber spiel. Please consider hitting the subscribe button and the like button if you've enjoyed it today. And if this is the first time you are seeing Star Citizen gameplay, make sure to subscribe and hang around, because that's what this channel's about, and we've got some very big plans for 2025. I'm working on massively increasing my live stream output, my video output, and I'm also working on a show, a Star Citizen show, but more to come on that as the year develops. I hope you all had a lovely holiday season and a happy new year, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
Who's that?
Can't tell. He's in the mask again. Is it Gollum? Is it Gandalf?
Ask your friend.
Yeah, well you can ask your mum, cause I heard her screaming out last night. It's GFA. And we don't hydrate, we don't posture check, cause we want that